Good evening, Calev.
Well, Amichai, the obvious question is, what's next for you? What are you going to do? You're a man without a party, but you in the Knesset. What's your plan?
The fraction isn't the most important thing.
Okay.
The most important thing in democracy is the public and the public opinion. And I can feel strongly the support of the public in the streets, in social media, and I'm very optimistic about the future. And strategically, the mission would be how the Machaneh HaLeumi, the national camp, can win the election, the next election, and bring more than 61 chairs in the Knesset. And that's how I see the mission. And I think that in the zone where Yamina and Tikva Hadasha played, there's a vacuum. And we have people who won't vote for the Likud for their own reasons, or for Tzionut Datit, which is a religious party. Yeah, so we have right-wing voters, liberal voters, Chilonim,
I'm going to interrupt you, because it sounds already like you're making a campaign speech for a new party.
No, I think it's
of
relevant.
Which I guess you would be part of.
The idea of Yamina and the Yamina Hadash formerly is a good idea if you just keep it and don't join Meretz, Ra'am, and the Labour. So I think the idea is already exists. We just need to do it.
So you talked about the new election. I think it sounds like you're saying you'll be part of or leading a new party in the next election.
Yeah.
But first of all, the government would have to be brought down, or you're going to have a pretty long wait. There is a no confidence vote next week. I guess we know you're going to vote no confidence. Idit Silman, we don't know her status yet, because she could also end up barred from running with another party if she were to vote no confidence. Do you think how long do you think this government is going to survive?
I think the story of this government is over. It's over. It might take 3 weeks. It might take 3 months. I don't know exactly.
3 years? 3 years?
Weeks? No, months.
Okay.
3 weeks, 3 months. That's it.
What's going to bring it down in 3 months, Em?
It might be Ram. It might be an operation in Gaza. It might be one more Knesset member who would say, that's it, enough. I'm fed away with this government. It might be Tikva Hadasha. We don't know exactly.
You don't saw us in the whole party. You bring up Ram. I do have to ask you, because you have definitely cited the inclusion of the Ram, the Islamist Arab Ram party in the coalition as a major reason for your breaking with it. But there are clips of you saying before the election that Ram should take part in some kind of coalition. And you've been accused of hypocrisy of that. Why?
Yeah, no. So let's be accurate.
Okay.
The only thing I've mentioned was Mansour Abbas himself.
You did say
as an individual. As an individual.
Well, he's the head of the Iran party.
But as an individual, I think his messages were far more moderate than Iman Oda and other. And I said I embrace these messages. That this is a good message. But Ram as a party, I think we have a huge problem with Ram, and many things that we know today about Ram we didn't know back then. We didn't know Ibrahim Hijazi, Razi Issa, and their quotes that Sheikh Yassin is their spiritual leader. We didn't know Imam Hatib and Al-Harumi went to strengthen the families of those who have done the lynch in Akko. He passed away, but I don't know if you remember that he went to Akko. Okay, that's Imam Hatib, Al-Harumi,
right, these other members of Ram.
Yeah, and I think that when you see today what Mansour Abbas is saying and doing, he said that he's only in civil issues, but he's leading now with Jordan the idea of turning down the Israel position on the Temple Mount.
So I want to be clear, you would not sit in a future government with Mansour Abbas as an individual. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I think the problem is Ra'am as a party.
I understand. Okay. Now, you have said, I mean, you say your priority is forming a right-wing, or being part of and seeing a right-wing government coalition. Amichai, there's a very easy way a right-wing government could be formed even in the coming weeks if Benjamin Netanyahu would step down from the Likud as leadership, even temporarily, from the Likud, let someone else come in, and he would probably attract some of those people that you talk about from Yamina, from the New Hope Party. So why aren't you calling for Benjamin Netanyahu to do that?
I think it's strong from a democratic perspective because, look, the biggest party in the national camp is the Likud with more than 30 mandates,
Yes.
and they had primaries. Okay, they voted. It was Gideon Sa'ar against Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's the elected candidate of the Likud, and he's the head of the Likud. I didn't vote for the Likud. I didn't vote in the primaries. I respect the voters of the Likud. So where is the demand from just move away and everything will be all right?
You are enough of a parliamentarian to know that unlike, for example, presidential politics, there are many cases of parties in which sitting even prime ministers as well as party leaders have stepped down for various reasons. Margaret Thatcher in the UK stepped down or was removed from that so the Conservatives can continue in power. So there's a precedent for that.
Look, I'm saying my opinion. I look at it from a democratic perspective. I don't think there's a reason to do it, and I don't accept the
boycott of
the boycott.
You don't think it's a problem?
Benjamin,
well, he is under indictment. You're comfortable with having a prime minister in office who is under indictment on corruption charges?
Obviously, it's better without it. That's obviously. But when I look at the process and how Mendelblit ran the process and Shai Nitzan, and I think there's some political aspect to this process when the not the Abraham Accords, but the deal of the century was formed in Washington. That was the evening when they launched the accusation against Netanyahu. The timing was very, very weird. So it looked like a political decision, and therefore I'm not saying that there is. I'm not replacing the judges, okay? But I do think that this whole process was touched by political motives.
All right. Have you been offered, you cannot run with the Likud in the next election because you have now been ejected. There are those who say that you have been offered, though, the choice of being a minister, even if you're not in the Knesset, in a subsequent Likud-led government. Is any truth to those rumors?
No one offered me to be a minister in the Likud or something like that. And
in the Likud-led government, let's be clear.
No.
So you've not had any discussions?
No, it's just someone.
Okay. And let me just lastly ask you, have you spoken to other members of Yamina that you think could join Idit Silman in leaving the party?
There was some negotiation with Abir Kara several weeks ago, but he still thinks that he can promote his agenda within this current government.
So in your view, there's going to be no immediate defection from the Yamina party? Following you, the path you blazed, and Idit Silman
I think that the most fragile frame at the moment is actually Ra'am party.
Right.
And maybe we can see some interesting move from Tikva Hadasha.
All right. Well, Amichai Chikli, you have an interesting path ahead of political path.
For sure.
Ahead of you, and we'll have to see how it develops. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Calev.
Again on The Rundown.